She was unique for quite a few reasons. But the one thing that I believe she really is unique for is that she was the first woman appointed to the federal bench here in San Diego. She was the first woman to be chief judge, and she was a wonderful mentor to women who came after her. We should remember Judge Keep, and especially young lawyers should know who she is, because as I said before, she was a trailblazer, and she was appointed at a very young age, and I think that is a perfect example for young lawyers to know that even though they may be young, but if they're successful and they're good lawyers and they're ethical, that they can achieve one of the highest positions there is in the judiciary, and that is to be a federal judge. In addition to that, Judge Keep was a scholar. I mean, a lot of people don't know that about her. She excelled in law school, and she really was a scholar. She was on law review, and I think it's important that her name be one that they are familiar with, young people and students, to know that she was a person of scholarship, a mentor, and a trailblazer.
You can't think about Judge Keep without thinking about her humor. She had a zest for life and did everything full bore. So one story I'd like to share, during her term as chief judge, we had some very serious security concerns. The Arellano Felix cartel was known for its violence, and there were legitimate concerns about security for our district, for our judges, for the lawyers who are practicing here because of the nature of the cases and the unique nature of the violence. So one day she got a phone call. There was something very suspicious going on at her house, and she was concerned. So I went about my business, but then later on went back to her and said, "So, Judge Keep, what was happening?" Well, she just burst out laughing with her giggle and smile and said, "Case closed." Rusty, her beloved husband, had put a big bow to celebrate either her birthday or anniversary on the garage. And she said, "Case closed, no security concern." That's emblematic and typical of the way that she just laughed and loved life.
Well, she was the true pioneering woman in terms of the law, not only as a lawyer, but also as a judge. She was so nationally recognized for her judicial abilities, not only as a judge, but as an administrator, that the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court placed her on key committees dealing with the future development of the federal judiciary. Be there, and people need to associate that name with a pioneering spirit, a pioneering lawyer, a lawyer who was willing to very diplomatically break down barriers that existed to women rising to the very top echelons of the profession. And she did it with her laugh. She would be in a discussion or an argument, and she would bring out this laugh that she had that was unmistakably her unique laugh, and it would just really control the situation.
Judge Keep, to me, was a mentor. She was someone in whose footsteps I wanted to follow. They were big footsteps, and I knew that. I was extremely disappointed that I didn't have the opportunity to be chief judge while she was alive. The last time I visited her in the hospital, I talked to her about the upcoming responsibilities that I would have as chief judge. And she gave me some great advice on different things, and I was just so hopeful that she would be there for me when I took on those responsibilities. And so I'm I know that she was someone in whose footsteps, as I said, I wanted to follow. She was a great example, a great mentor, not only to me personally, but to the women in the community. I mean, she was a trailblazer, as I said, for all women lawyers in the community. And that's the one thing I'll always remember about her.
She taught me to take every day as a gift. And she looked for the fun parts of every day, even though she knew that her prognosis was not very good. She was upbeat every day. She taught me more about living and dying than I think anybody else. If I was going to remember her or want her to be remembered for anything, it would be that. There are a lot of bright lawyers and judges, but there are very few people who can teach you lessons of life, and that's what she did.